Mob of the Dead world record history. Let's get into it.
2. Black Ops 2
Black
Mob
Ops 2.
of the Dead. For many players, at one point or another, this was their favorite map of all time.
Mob of the Dead is still top 5 zombie maps. Is this your favorite zombies map? One in chat if it is.
This map had everything
Mob of the Dead
going
is phenomenal.
for it. The nightmarish aesthetic, sweeping exploratory layout, solid mechanics, and basis on one of the most haunted real-life locations in the world.
The ambience,
Alcatraz
they nailed
Island.
it, bro. They killed it.
It also came on the tail of the disappointing releases of Transit and Die Rise.
This map saved my zombies career. That's why I always say,
Two of
like,
the worst
love
received
Mob.
maps in Zombies history.
I know.
Mob of the Dead did a lot for the revitalization of both the content creation scene and the
Zombies would be dead without this map. That's why you always got to put some respect on Mob. Mob literally changed the game for Call of Duty Zombies.
competitive scene of Black Ops
I don't think I've
2
ever seen a Zombies map do
What
it like
players
Mob did.
probably didn't realize at the time was that Mob of the Dead would become one of the longest and most grueling maps for the world record that Call of Duty had seen so far.
Which is crazy, considering that the Easter egg is so easy. But yeah, I get it. High rounds on this map are freaking different.
In fact, in the 10 years since the map's release, it seems like some players have spent more time playing the map than some actual prisoners spent in Alcatraz.
That's genuinely sad. You guys are willingly put yourself in Alcatraz over people that actually were sentenced a sentence here.
In this video, I'll
That's
take you
just
through
sad.
the past decade of these players,
That's
and
just-
you can decide
oh, it's
whether
horrific.
their time served on Mob was worth it for the incredible rounds and strategy optimization.
That is a
that were
hilarious
achieved.
comparison, though. Yeah, especially considering that these world records, these are the lengthiest speed runs I think I've ever seen in any other video game. Especially because, like, there is no end. The speed run is just hit the highest round physically possible. I guess until your game resets. Which is just... It's what puts zombies above every other game, in my opinion, for world records. Like, you hit a world record on a high round, and less than 10 people max for a lot of these older maps are even going to be able to compete with you. You know?
Mob of the Dead was released on April 16th, 2013,
10 years
as the
ago, man.
second DLC
Wow.
for Black Ops 2.
Wow.
As with all Black
What
Ops
a
2
year.
DLC releases, it dropped on Xbox 360 a month before it came out on PS3 and PC.
No more Xbox exclusivity. Let's leave that in the past,
Due
boys.
to performance issues and coding limitations, Xbox 360 was by far the best platform to play on anyway.
And it
for a
still
long
is
time
for
to
a
come.
lot of older games.
Mob was billed as an atmospheric horror thriller adventure map with a celebrity cast that included the late great Ray Liotta. But its layout was
Bro, so many of the people that are in this map already have passed. That's just
more
so
of a
sad.
return to form than
R.I.P.
the vertical confusion
boys.
of Die Rise, and the stranded
Frickin'
feeling of
elevators.
Transit. However, like all the Black Ops 2 maps, it introduced a unique experimental feature that changed gameplay. In this case, that was Afterlife.
I mean,
Instead
Afterlife.
of Quick Revive, when a player went down,
I still like Afterlife even more so than a lot of stuff that we got later, like Beast Mode.
spawn as a ghost.
I don't know, just
and
it's
have
just
the
like
opportunity
so
to revive
cool, bro.
themselves, and also teleport
Freaking
zombies
Ghost,
and find
man.
Easter egg steps in the
I
process.
played this on the Wii. I'm so sorry for your
In
loss.
solo, a player could have up to 3 of these at a time.
I know,
and would
and that's
get
what
one
was
back at the
so
end of
good
each
about this
round.
map.
This gave much more survivability to players than the classic 3 downs in a game.
I wish we would have had Afterlife back in another Zombies map, like in Revelations or something. Oh,
over,
bro.
which already made games
It's another
much
map
longer
we
from
needed
the
this system
get-go.
in.
Mob's unique perk, Electric Cherry, is also meant to help with survivability.
Goated perk.
It creates an electric burst
This was the best introduced perk for a long time until Widow's Wine came.
around the player when they
My
reload,
gosh, this game was
stunning nearby zombies, and it became
Insane,
very
bro.
influential on how the map was played. The first 100 on Mob was achieved around 2 days after the map's release,
that's absolutely disgusting.
in a game that
it's
would
by
become
Champs,
a solid
huh?
first world record for the map.
Wow.
A player named Champs0707
The
went around
legend!
150
Dude, Champs is a OG. Love this man. And Champs, hit me up anytime, bro. Hit me up anytime.
and quit after
This man used to play a lot with one of my mods who unfortunately passed away. So shout out to Champs. He's a
6
legend.
days in game
W
and over
gamer.
60 hours.
And
of
my man
game
went
time.
for huge high rounds.
The reason he was able to make it so far so simplistically was because Mob of the Dead was the first and only Black Ops 2 map to introduce Black Ops 1 style environmental traps
True.
there are 3 of them
You really don't get this type of dedication
on the map.
on the
The
on the
Sniper
buildings
Tower,
in these
which
games anymore.
sucks. The Fan
Sniper
Blade
Tower's
trap,
terrible.
which is in a tight area, and the Acid Trap.
Fan
which
Blade's good
Champs
for certain
used
areas,
because it
but
was in
Acid
one of
Trap
the most
is
open areas
GOAT.
of the map, the prison
Yep.
cafeteria. Champs would run circles in this area with the trap on.
Wild
and
that
when
this
it
was
deactivated and
found
cooled
so
down, he would
early.
turn the horde around and take them out to the cell block
Because bro didn't even have the Hell's Redeemer at this point. He didn't know that this would have been a one hit. So we got a 150
area.
Acid Trap
Shoot
only.
them for points with the MP5.
That's
Run back
crazy.
through and activate the trap again.
Yeah, MP5
To keep
spamming.
himself safe, he used the upgraded wonder weapon, the Acid Gat, but he
Wow.
didn't use the Hell's Retriever, as its infinitely killing upgrade wasn't discovered
Yeah,
until
only
a
2
few
days in.
after he had started the game.
That's
But
insane.
as with most first world records on zombies
He
maps,
is running the shield though. which is
Champs'
good.
record only had the competition of every single high round player excited about the map. It
True.
wouldn't last for long.
Yeah, would not
A
have
week
lasted
later,
long.
Actors Strike Over,
seasoned BO1
GTA
veteran
6,
Zeus
Shrek
Cannons
5,
played a
and The
game to
Boys as 4
166,
posters on the same day.
spending 10
That's what I'm
days
saying,
and
man.
79 hours
I love the
in
timeline
game
that we're building here.
before getting a G-Spawn error.
G-Spawn
meaning
era
his game
168.
ran out of
Dang.
object slots.
Dang.
At this point, a fair amount of other games were ending in error as well. Zeus Cannons was the first to discover that Black Ops 2 did not have insta-kill rounds like Black Ops 1. However, he mentions in his video
Which is horrific.
that this game was not world record by the time it ended. A British player named Gaming Ninjas HQ, also known as Suffered Flyer,
Wow.
was on 168 when Zeus Cannons was on
Sheesh.
166. However, no footage still exists of Suffered Flyer's game.
No, my man
Only a
went.
mention in Zeus's
got
video
left
and
behind.
some tweets from Suffered's account. But don't worry, this record would only last a week as well before more progression
When the
was
entities are coming.
made, and Suffered
Yeah.
Flyer would be back. On May 8th, an up-and-coming American
The high rounds of this map is so bare bones. Yeah, well, it's because you're not using any weapons other than the vitriolic to get them away from you. It's only Hell's Redeemer and Trap
player
and
named
points.
the Space Marine 360.
It is really
round
bare bones.
107.
Yeah, you literally only need Jug and Electric Cherry. That's pretty much it. You don't really need Speed Cola because you're not shooting them.
97 on Mob before disconnecting
You really
from
just
the
need
Xbox servers.
Electric Cherry and Jug.
This was the first recorded world record game to use the Hell's Redeemer. And even though
Oh,
it only gets a
wow.
max of 6 kills every throw, the difference in time it made
Is
was
astronomical. Yeah.
staggering. While Zeus Cannons was 79 hours to 166, Space was 55 hours to
Wow.
177.
That's the difference a freaking Tomahawk makes on this map. That's crazy,
All
bro.
told, making him
A whole
around
24-hour
30 hours
difference.
faster.
Yeah.
Space also
What the
changed up
heck?
the acid trap strategy for this game.
Stamina Up was in this map. It is not in this map. Stamina Up is not in this map.
Instead of running into the cafeteria
Dead shots
when
in
the
this
acid
map,
trap
though.
was turned on, he would run upstairs into the infirmary and kill the trickle of zombies that spawned up there. This is also the first game that seemed to utilize the spawn control present in the cafeteria. In Zombies, spawn control refers
Interesting that he goes all the way up there to throw the Hell's Redeemer. He
to
could have
when you
just stayed
stand
in
a
that little
specific
corridor area.
to force the zombies to spawn from specific windows.
Hmm.
On Mob, if you stand in the very back of the room, near the workbench or the claymore wall by, the zombies will only spawn from the 3 windows inside the cafeteria.
Oh, interesting. I
This
did not
is
know
really
that.
only useful for the beginning of rounds or insta-kills, but Space did more to make his spawn.
Basically, just to gives you some fast
It's
spawns.
faster as
Okay,
well.
I actually had no clue about
He
this, and
kept
I did
certain
the round
doors
100.
closed, including the door at the top
Yeah,
of the
that door
infirmary
makes
stairs,
sense.
and even more critically, the door from the cell block down to the showers.
Wow, not opening that door up though would be difficult.
Previous
difficult to
world
play
records
around.
had left this open.
That's
but it
really
turned out
smart
this
though,
slowed
keeping
down
those
zombie spawns
closed.
a lot,
Yeah.
because the zombies had to run to you from farther away.
Wow.
Had space not disconnected, his record might have lasted a lot longer.
He was playing on 360.
But since
no.
the game had ended early, it was vulnerable.
No, he got an Xbox Live update required. Bro, these are the worst.
For another player.
I
to
remember these. These are
take. None other than
horrid.
Suffered Flyer would come back for his record.
Suffered
and
Flyer
with
with
a
a 195. Let's go.
On May
Dang,
23rd,
W
Suffered
record.
would achieve Mob's most critical milestone so far.
Wow.
The first reset on round 195.
Wow, he
Not
actually hit
much
the reset.
was known about Zombies map
Crazy.
resets and how they worked until years later.
Oh yeah,
But
still
for
we're
now,
figuring
players
out.
knew that after a certain amount of time,
King Jack, legendary.
within a range of a
Legendary
few
player.
hours, the map would run out of memory and restart itself.
Wow.
On Mob, this happened after 95 to 100 hours of playtime.
Can you imagine putting 95 hours into one game of zombies? Like, I have 100 hours total on some of the other zombie games. That's in one game.
Suffered Flyer adopted a new variation of the acid trap strategy and managed to survive for the
Rip
maximum
retinas, for
amount
real.
of time that Mob allowed. Instead of running inside the cafeteria while the acid trap was on, or upstairs like Space, Suffered ran outside in the cell block, using the Hell's Redeemer to kill zombies and keep the horde small and manageable. This was the first usage of the specific strategy that would become the meta for most of the next decade.
Wow.
However, the popular theory emerging at the time was that using the tomahawk too much was causing the errors that some people were getting,
that's definitely not true.
along with too many electric cherry activations as well.
Oh, so that's why he's not running it this
Therefore,
game.
at some point, probably in the 170s, Suffered
Huh.
stopped using the weapon, dropped all his perks except for Juggernog, and shot for points to pull the trap instead of using the tomahawk.
Like, dude, he's on round 195, but only has 28,000 points. That is
This
so
obviously
little.
slowed his game down a lot,
Like,
as he wasn't constantly killing anymore.
He's not getting nothing
but he did
from
manage
this.
to avoid the error successfully.
Wow, so he
However,
actually
Suffered
avoided the
Flyer
error.
wasn't even
No
done
way.
with Mob of the Dead. There was another milestone to be achieved, and he would restart immediately after his 195 to hunt it down. Just over 3 weeks later, around June 15th, he would add another considerable achievement to his list. The first 200 ever on Black Ops 2.
Wow,
This
the
game-
first 200 on BO2.
It would appear Suffered used the tomahawk
Wow,
the whole game all the way to
213.
213. When he reset
Sheesh.
again,
Bro's
probably
different.
to test how
He
far
is
you could
him.
use it without erroring.
Oh my gosh.
Sadly, today only the last 60 seconds of footage remain of this game,
Bruh.
but the shakeup it gave the mob scene was unmistakable. Some accused Suffered Flyer of cheating due to a variety of reasons. The presence of walking zombies, lack of kills
Bro, walkers on BO2 are on any round.
on the
Doesn't matter.
scoreboard, lack of perks at the end of the game.
At 213, I'd expect more perks. Bruh,
Local
lol.
players knew that these were features
Everyone commenting is dumb.
map or ways that players were
Way to
forced
roast
adapt
them, bro.
to avoid error.
Oh
And this
no.
aspect of working around the errors would start
The
to
high
become
round
more
war.
widespread right
Yeah,
after
there's
this
the
game.
G spawn.
At this
Too
point,
bad.
Mob began to show just how stubborn of a map it could be.
Oh yeah.
Not long after Suffered Flyer finished his game, in July of
Oh my
2013,
gosh. Ooh,
Space-
boys, we whipped out the BlackBerry footage,
Green would
boys.
try to wrestle his record back, and he almost did. Keyword almost.
Did he die on
Space Marine would
212?
make it all the way to 212 before a bizarre error ended
Bro, how did you record this? I have to know.
his game.
How did he
This error, which
record
became
this?
known as the Hunk error, or, as you'll see, the Space Marine error,
The Bandicam, unregistered Hypercam 2 error.
would keep coming back to haunt him.
My
The strangest
gosh.
thing about it
Never
is,
give
to
up.
this day, no one really has any idea what causes it.
That's interesting.
Space was similarly at a
unknowable error.
loss, but that wouldn't stop him from trying again
Wow.
and again.
Could you imagine hitting the resets this many times on a zombies map? Why even play? What are you even playing for at that point? You hit the world record.
and again. Over the course of the
Man.
next year, Suffered Flyer's record would stand uncontested, while
Jeez.
Space G-spawned on 190, Hunk errored on 202, Hunk errored on 207, and Reset on 209.
Lads, like every one of these games is 100 hours. You just witnessed somebody put 500 hours into Mob of the Dead and still say, I'm going to go for the world record again.
Putting in total
What
over
in the
700
world?
hours into playing the map.
700 hours. 700. I don't think I have that many on, like, World at War, bro.
This was also the most 200s any player had achieved on any map ever.
Wow.
It would take until June of 2014, exactly a year after Suffered's record, for Space to finally escape the prison. Like many Zombies maps, Mob rewards dedication.
He went to
and
Blood.
Space had a lot of it.
He went to Blood of the
He
Dead.
started up a game that summer with a bit of a retro strategy in mind. He would drop Electric Cherry after 160 and stop using the Tomahawk after round 200 in an attempt to prevent the Hunk error. Survival was no longer a problem.
Wow, what a clutch. What the frick was that?
Mob can get unpredictable,
Wow.
as since you're constantly killing the zombies when using the Tomahawk, they're constantly spawning.
Oh my god.
But Space showed a mastery of the strategy unlike anyone else in the game to
Sheesh.
get out of tough situations.
Bro, that's what Mob
Finally,
is
this
great
game would see
with.
him get lucky
Wow.
enough to last until one round after the world record,
Wow.
when he reset on 214. With this game, a hard-fought
So
success.
214, 213 was the record pretty much right after the game.
Space Marine was
or the
crowned
map
the
came
king
out.
of Mob.
Wow.
However, this record would not last as long as it took to get.
Dang, probably
5 months
not.
later, in November 2014, a new player would enter the gates. Deniska wanted a 200 on the
Ooh.
only Black Ops 2 map it was possible on at
This map did a lot of BO1 hundreds.
but he wasn't
So I'm
stopping
excited
there.
to see his BO2
After
ones.
he achieved that goal, he went back for the record, playing much faster than either Suffered Flyer or Space
Dang,
Marine.
222.
This was owing
He
not only to
lapped
strategy
them.
optimizations, but also to the fact that Deniska used the Tomahawk all game.
Oh, he
proving
said
that the Hunk
F
error
it.
was caused by something else.
Oh,
Deniska
interesting.
destroyed the record by 8 rounds.
It's probably something to do with the
reaching round
shield.
222 before
Dang,
resetting rather
that
late
is a
at
crazy
101 and a
leap.
half hours. Not only was this the highest round on Black Ops 2 at the time, it was the highest round on any Black Ops Zombies map ever. And this is where speed really began to
Wow.
become a factor on Mob.
222. That was the
Well,
highest
players
round
never-
until BO3 with the
Never
255s.
knew exactly when they were going to reset. It was always at about the same time. So any player who wanted to beat Deniska would have to play considerably faster than him, seeing as a single
That's what I mean. Like, you're not only doing a marathon, you're doing a sprint and a marathon at the same time.
round in the 220s played
Like,
as
why?
fast as the strategy could go was well over
We love
an
that
hour
bit rate,
long,
boys.
And Deniska had gotten a
Huge
late
bit,
reset.
huge bit rate.
But he had made a small mistake in this game. While he had optimized his trap pulls and tomahawk usage, he had left the door from the acid trap to the infirmary closed,
Why is that a
which,
mistake, though?
unknown to him, made him slower.
Oh,
This
I
left
had no
room
clue.
for improvement even on Deniska's staggering record,
I had no
but
clue.
it wouldn't be beaten for some time. Deniska was also one of the first to do first box restarts on Mob to get the Mark II before fire sales spawned. This
Oh my gosh, dude. When I was doing this for BO2, trying to get the Rega Mark II,
wouldn't become
This was
widespread until years
horrific.
later, but it sped up the meta around 1 to 50 strategy, camping early rounds in the
Right.
double tap room.
no, the
by a
Mark
lot.
II was a game changer on this
Problem
map, bro.
was that getting a
It was
single Mark
so
II out of the
good.
box before it moved
Less than
could
2%
take
chance.
hours.
Yeah, could literally take you 4+ hours.
When it paid
Been there,
off,
done
it
that.
gave Deniska an additional edge. Nearly a year later, in October 2015, Deniska would play the fastest Mob game of the time,
Wow.
less than 70 hours to 200,
Dude, 91 hours. in.
91 hours to
Oh my
218,
gosh.
on pace to make it all the way to 225 before resetting. when he was put.
One in the chat, if you were watching streams like this back in 2013, bro, I would watch a stream like this in 240p and be like, this is the greatest content I've ever seen.
Death Row by Hunk Error.
Now people like this, they wouldn't even be put on Twitch, bro.
Hey, what?
No, he hit the hunk air again.
I got the Space Marine here.
Someone
I'd be pissed
else
if
would
I
have
was
to
him
finish
too.
the job.
Bro,
And
that's
someone
too
else
bad.
did.
So how?
On
What
June
is that
19th,
error?
2016, beloved Zombie Records staff member Gamer O'Neill would barely scrape by Deniska's record,
Dang,
pushing
it's
it up by one round
round
to 223.
223.
He reset just 6 minutes into the round, and 45
Bruh.
minutes earlier than Deniska had.
Wow, 6 minutes in, he got the round.
Oh!
Wow,
Here it is, boys.
that's freaking insane.
Oh, there it is.
100
boys!
hours,
Yo, that's
45
six
minutes.
extra minutes.
Wow.
However, O'Neill opened the door in the acid trap,
We were
which allowed
completely
more
down bad,
zombies to die
chat.
with
We were
each
so
trap
down
pull
bad with
and
this
a
map.
faster route to getting Juggernog back after going down.
I see, or just
At
don't
this
go
point,
down.
it's probably a good idea to explain how Zombies players measure speed, as it's become very important on Mob.
Is it with
The unit for
zombie
speed
hordes?
is SPH,
SPH, yes.
or seconds
yeah.
per horde,
Seconds per
measuring
horde,
the
yeah.
amount of seconds it takes to kill
to take
24
out
zombies,
the
or
whole
one
game
horde.
horde that spawns in.
The SPH of Mob strategy
100 hours,
when
no
O'Neill was
bathroom
running
break.
it was about
No, they can pause in this,
25.8,
but
which compared to other Black
Oh,
Ops 2
it's
maps is
crazy.
on the slower side. In Deniska's 218 game, he was able to run the strategy at about 24.9 SPH,
wow.
as he was better about hitting the trap as soon as it was available, and getting the max of 6 kills per tomahawk throw. However, as you'll see, this was a hard speed to keep up. 10 months later, O'Neill's record would be matched by famous Zombies high rounder Steve, who played at basically
The
the
legend.
exact same pace as
Shout out to Steve. This guy's nasty, bro. He had the 223 as
O'Neill,
well?
getting the same reset
Wow.
time as O'Neill, also 6
Wow.
minutes into 223.
Steve is one of the most legendary zombie players. This bro has been around like probably as long as the relaxing end. Has
In
been
his
hitting
video, Steve
records.
commented how much respect he
My
had for players
gosh,
with a 200
4 days
plus
for
on
one
Mob,
record.
as it's a long
Yeah.
and slow run.
Wow.
But these two games showed just how consistent the strategy had become. Since there are no special rounds or trades to be done on Mob, there's almost no luck involved in gameplay after early round camping, except
That is
reset
true.
time.
You don't need to worry about drops or anything. It's literally just take him out with
Instead,
the
Mob
redeemer
proved to be
as
mostly
fast as
skill and
possible.
endurance.
Oh,
The
fully.
less a player downed, the less
Yeah.
time they would have to waste taking the gondola to Jug and back to recover,
True.
saving
true.
time that stacked up considerably over the course of the game. At this point, most world record games on Mob had between 25 and 40 downs.
Wow.
But eventually,
That's a
a player
lot.
came along to really scrape the skill ceiling of how flawlessly you could play the map.
Dang. That's the
Enter
thing, bro.
Lan-
Like, that's what makes BO1 records so insane is how you can literally just push these records so hard. You
Lamster.
can push them.
Actually, Lamster had entered back in 2016, and he
What,
already
is he gonna
had
knock
4
down at all?
200s on the map by the
Wow.
time he made the Mob World Record,
4
a three-way
200s.
tie in April 2018,
Dang.
giving him the same amount of 200s as Space Marine.
223, the round to beat.
All this experience had made him considerably skillful at avoiding downs. When he reset on 223, he had a total of 9 downs, which was unheard of at the time and is still insanely
Dang.
impressive by today's standards.
That is very
This saved
impressive.
him 20 to 30
Nine-
extra trips to
That's a
Jug
down every 10 hours.
that O'Neill and Steve had
That's
taken,
10 hours
which,
of perfect gameplay.
combined
That's
with other
crazy.
minor but effective time saves,
Wow.
made him nearly 3 hours faster than the world record games. So why didn't he blow the world record out of the water? Well, remember when I said resets were within a range of a few hours every time? Lamster got almost the lowest possible end of that range,
No, he could have pushed the 224 then.
resetting early at 98 hours.
Oh,
instead of
that's
nearly
so
101.
upsetting.
I said he was good, not lucky.
Dang. That is
Lamster's
so
timing was
upsetting.
also unfortunate, because while he was in this game, One of the most important discoveries ever made in High Round Zombies history was publicized. In late March of 2018, a Black Ops 1 player named Oxygen for
Oxygen
the Win
coming in with the
uploaded a video
stats.
dissecting exactly how resets worked, and how you could improve your reset by hours, and determine what it would be down to the minute. Oxygen specifically researched Black Ops.
This bro pulled out the freaking scientific formulations up in here, bro. And yeah, there's some new MW3 zombie news. I'll check it out after the video.
1, but the same idea
I
worked for
want
Black
to.
Ops 2.
I'll finish this first. and I'll
Every
check it out.
zombies map has a certain amount of entities or
Entities!
interactable objects such as
We made it!
Zombies, parts, sound.
We
triggers,
made it into
and
that part of the
more.
video. The
Every 50
entities.
milliseconds,
We're here.
the total number of entities on the map will get stored.
We finally made it.
and when this
the
variable
entities
goes over
data.
a certain number, the map will restart itself.
Yep.
Players could increase reset by removing entities off the map. In Mob's case, this included fuel cans, Brutus lockdowns, the Easter egg song,
That's crazy how that all counts as removing entities.
claymores, and the spoon for the golden spork.
Whoa,
For
that
every
is so
one entity
cool.
removed, this adds about 20 minutes to the total reset time.
Wow.
With all
no
optimizations,
way.
reset
Like,
could
how did they design this system for zombies?
be increased by up to 4
I just can't
hours,
believe
or
that this
about
is
3
actually how it's
rounds.
made, bro.
Then again, with bad optimization, reset could be decreased, which was what happened to Lamster.
Wow.
This was a groundbreaking discovery,
Bad
as it meant that
optimization.
almost every time-based map on Black Ops 1 and 2 could be beaten just by playing the same strategy and picking extra stuff up off the map.
That's crazy.
This-
Like, that's just so mind-blowing. Like, doing other side Easter eggs gives you more
It wouldn't be
time.
the only step
Even
taken
that
for Black Ops 2 in
much.
2018. Something would happen that would nearly tear the community in two.
Uh-oh.
This something was a player named Stealth McFilthy TV. Stealth
What a image.
also had several 200s on Mob on console, but he was the first to play a major zombies game on a PC version of Black Ops 2 called Redacted.
Oh, here we go. With the clients, bro. Redacted and Plutonium.
December of 2018.
Oh, yeah. Here we
This
go.
was an offline mod that brought the inferior PC port up to the same level as console. It made it so players wouldn't get disconnected, and so players could put patches in the game that would stop the traps from breaking on 159. His game started out as more of a test than anything, since Stealth had no idea how long this PC version would hold out. The answer, however, was 104 hours.
Dang. So it lasted a little bit more. It was better optimized than the original BL2, which is crazy.
Stealth became the first to play out a full game with the new extended
Wow.
reset optimizations, annihilating the record and reaching round 228 even though he just used the classic strategy.
Dang.
As you might
so
ex-
literally a whole 5-round difference after like almost 4 years of the map coming out. That's crazy. At the end of the year too.
Expect a game on this
Sheesh.
unsanctioned platform that beat the record by so much upended not only the mob community, but the entire Black Ops 2 community. On maps like Buried,
Yeah,
it was
'cause it
discovered
means you
that
can get more
errors that
rounds.
happened on console
Shout out to
were
Ojumpy.
non-existent or majorly pushed back on PC due to hardware differences.
Right. PC zombies better.
PC also had much more customization, such as scalable FPS
Yeah,
and field
and
of
mods
view.
and all sorts of things.
But that wasn't
Yeah.
all. Stealth also gained time back in his game in another way that was specific to PC Mob. When playing on keyboard, there's no delay between pressing the trap button and the trap activating, unlike on controller. It's less than a second change for each activation, but with thousands of trap pulls for every 200 plus game.
It is wild that like I've put hundreds of hours into this map and I still don't practically know like half the information of this video. I always find that to be the most fascinating parts about watching these videos is that I could put in 2,000 more hours into Mob and I still wouldn't be able to find half this stuff.
It adds up. All this divided the
just
community sharply
insane
on whether
with this
Stealth's
game.
game should be considered cheating, whether the leaderboard should be split, or whether this was
It's interesting because whatever the results of this are now, I feel like people still play Plutonium. I don't know if that's allowed in world records, but
just the next step
we're about to
forward
figure out.
in
I'm pretty sure it
progressing
is.
the record. High Round
Or maybe
Zombies
I'm wrong.
players are not exactly known for easily agreeing.
No.
However, as more and more players tried their hand at
Absolutely not.
Redacted, it became clear that new progression and innovations on the maps would be made on PC, not console. But this didn't
Dang.
stop Lamster from keeping
just like
console
everything
in the
else, though, for
competition
real.
for the next year. Lamster would play not 1, not 2, not 3,
Oh my
but
gosh.
4 more 200
400 more hours, by the way. 400 more hours, bro just said.
plus
I will
games
take
on
400
Mob
more
between
hours.
Stealth's game and February of 2020, when his dedication finally paid off again. Lamster did actually make the only knowledge progression in history on the Hunk error during this time.
Whoa!
Huh.
2 hours of that. I got a car!
He screamed like he got a freaking rare Pokemon card, bro.
I deserve it from falling Deniska.
The only way to fix it is to get a new Xbox.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
After 2 Hunk errors, Lamster did just that, and it took him another game lost to a power outage before he finally tied Stealth's PC record at 228.
Lamster. I got
Best zombies
respect
map
for
of
you,
all
man.
time. Kino
Wow.
Totem Black Ops.
Yeah, like when people ask me, was Treyarch intending for all this to happen? The short answer is, ladies and gentlemen, no. Because not even Microsoft was ready to build this type of hardware for what this game was able to do, bro.
But wait,
Two?
he got an earlier reset again.
Oh my god.
That's right, Lamster would once
Like,
again
they
play
don't make
faster and
stuff
with
like
less
this
downs
anymore.
than the leading game, only to reset early on a joint world record. Well, this was because Mob's entity count didn't always work exactly the same as the other maps. On rare occasions, after going to the bridge to Pack-a-Punch, the map would randomly add a bunch of entities, dropping the reset time by a lot.
Oh,
And
that's
this is
weird.
what happened to Lamster. With a full-length reset, this game could have potentially reached 230, and this was in part because it was the first world record Mob game to use a new strategy since 2013. But what new knowledge had been unlocked that changed the game? Well, actually, it was a strategy that had been discovered in the first few weeks of Mob's release, but had gone under the radar until now. Way back in May of 2013, zombie strategist Madomaster21 uploaded a video on what would later be referred to as stairs strategy. Instead of running out in the cell block while the acid trap was on and tomahawking the horde,
Oh, bro, this is what I see people doing still.
Madomaster activated the trap from the cafeteria
Yeah, I
side,
still see people
ran
doing
through
that.
it before it started
They
spraying,
jump through it.
and camped in the stairwell
Very
that
difficult
led
to
up
do
the
that, bro.
infirmary.
That is not
Space
an easy
Marine
thing to do.
almost did this in his 177, but his version was less optimized because he ran all
Yeah,
the way
because he would run up
into
with the Redeemer.
infirmary,
Yeah, this was a
causing the zombies to
bit
spawn
of a weird
farther
strat.
away.
Yeah.
In Madomaster's version, he could kill the few zombies that ran into the stairwell with the tomahawk, while keeping the spawns close and then run out. This strategy
Very
had been the
dangerous
fastest
strat,
one
but it is
found,
fast.
but it was deemed too dangerous and inconsistent at first, and it was forgotten about. That is, until September 2018.
The man, the
British-
myth, the legend, MC Zombie Slayer, W, bro. We're having all these world record holders in the chat, boys.
Player, the MC
The
Zombie Slayer,
Gigatrads.
used this strategy to
Let's
beat the 100
go.
speedrun world record,
Oh,
held
wow.
at the time by a player named What the Fuzzle. MC only beat Fuzzle by 3 minutes.
What a name, man.
But since Fuzzle's game had been considered very difficult
Is that the doing your mom cat? That literally is, man. I've seen that before.
to beat, and MC was
Horrific.
able to beat it with 14 downs.
Horrific.
Players immediately
imagery.
began to see the potential of the strategy. It was made even faster and safer when another player, TTS for Life, discovered that you could stand up against the railing and the zombies
Oh,
would
and this
briefly
is where
get
I see
stuck
the
trying to
railings.
hit you.
Yes, I see.
While this was briefly
Just
argued as a
delaying.
glitch, it was eventually agreed upon as legit, as you weren't invincible,
That's
and
true.
some zombies would still run all the way down
Yeah,
the
you're just
stairs
basically
to hit
delaying the time it takes to charge
By the
up
time
the Redeemer.
Lamster played it in his 228, it was becoming the new meta. But there was one drawback to the strategy. It required use of electric cherry to stun the zombies
I
while
know, and I tried doing this. The speedrun for this is so freaking egregious because you mess up once. Like, look at this. You're red screen. You're hoping
going
for
through the door to the acid trap.
life.
And players always had to drop electric cherry by the 170s
Oh
or
my
face
gosh.
error.
Right.
Well, on console they did. Lamster was forced to down himself on 173, get rid of cherry, and play the classic strategy from there to 228.
I don't get how IW Zombies is the only zombies game that allows you to remove perks. Why is this not a staple in Treyarch games yet? They should just add it instead of making you having to down.
But seeing as how the buried error was massively delayed on PC, players figured it was possible that cherry error was too. No one knew how far stair strategy would take you on PC.
We didn't know.
So players went and found
know.
out. In May of 2020, Stealth McFilthy returned to test how far you could get playing stairs the entire game. And he proved everyone's theories correct. Cherry never did error your game on PC. With all his rounds on the faster strategy, he was able to reach round 233, tying the highest round ever
Wow.
achieved on Black Ops 2,
Wow.
which at the time was 233 by me on Buried.
Dang. Flex right there, wonderful, but that was fire. What a
Stealth's
flex.
game ended in a freeze right
I
before
won't lie, Buried's 100 is I don't know. It took me longer to get Buried 100 than Mob's 100, but Buried's is faster. Mob's is
he was going
can
to
be
reset.
a grueling
So he would have gotten
grind, bro.
233 either way.
Oh, and that's the end of the game.
No, you just see it freeze. 104 hours in, bro. You got me crying looking at this.
However, he took a
Oh
lot
my
of downs past
gosh.
200, so there was still room for
So there's room for
on his
improvement.
game.
Yeah, I see.
Even so, Stealth's 233 would
Mob
last
is
as the
such a
longest
slow
standing
round
Mob of the
100.
Dead world record to date.
Wow.
This was not for lack of attempts, however, but it was in part due to lack of motivation.
I mean,
Mob-
I agree. It's 100 hours you're putting in one of these games, bro.
Its popularity as
course.
a high-round map had diminished as the years went on,
Of course.
as it was considered extremely monotonous, grueling, and just
Well, it's because everybody got used to like the newer games where you can get to round 100 on Cold War in like 90 minutes. Like, dang,
plain
we
boring.
did it.
Many of the console players,
We
like
did it.
Deniska and Lamster, had left or retreated from the mob scene after the switchover to PC, as they felt the game had been fundamentally changed with all the customizations and differences on the platform.
That is very true. Yeah, zombies did change as soon as a lot of people went to PC and did like mods and workshop stuff. That's very true. That is
Furthermore,
very
due
true.
to something called the 25-day error,
Oh man, we were here, bro. Give me the
if
100.
players wanted to play out a full mob game to reset, they would have to play their game in just over 3 weeks, which equated to over 4 hours every single day for nearly a month. Not very appealing.
No.
However, some life was shocked back
absolutely
into Mob when some exciting discoveries were made in 2020 and 2022. The first was another new strategy.
Oh yeah,
May
this is
of
where I was about to
2020.
say, because people don't even go acid trap now. It's fan trap.
While Stealth was in his game, a player named Stolas uploaded a video showcasing a completely different strategy he had invented in the warden's office with the fan trap.
It's crazy, man.
This involved running into the warden's office, pulling the fan trap, letting the zombies spawn, crawling
The
back underneath the
balls.
fan trap, and tomahawking the zombies out in the cell block, similar in theory to the classic strategy, but with less room. This strategy was 2
Dude, it's just crazy.
SPH faster than stairs,
Wow, but that makes a huge
4
difference.
SPH faster than classic.
Sheesh.
But crawling under the fan trap was very hit or miss,
Oh,
as
yeah,
it could easily
could instantly
insta-kill
die.
the player.
Yeah.
But Black Ops 2 veteran Chris Voltage would set his eyes on the strategy.
Nah, Chris Voltage is different, bro. This guy got all the round 100s on the maps that have survival maps. So he did Nuketown and Town. I don't know if he did Farm, but Chris is different, bro. I'm not
remaking
shocked
it
he
into a
decided to
version
go
where
into
you didn't
this.
have to crawl under the fan trap, and you would simply stay in the cell block until it turned
Oh,
off.
yeah, because this is what I see. They don't even run inside there.
Then tomahawk in the warden's office while it recharged. This
Wow.
strategy was dubbed OnlyFans strategy.
Just can't do that, man.
OnlyFans had a lot of
Just can't do
potential
that.
as it was high risk, high
do that.
reward. The spawns were chaotic, and the areas you had to run it in were tight, but it was a significant speed boost. It seemed like Chris had it on lock, blazing past everyone else's rounds on the strategy, until he G-spawned on one.
Shut up, bro. Of course, Tom Fantasy replies that, bro.
155.
Oh my god.
It appeared that a combination of Electric Cherry and Acid Gat spam were the culprits, despite the fact that Chris was on PC. This pointed to the theory that maybe Cherry Error was still on PC, just very delayed. Either way, it stopped the momentum of the strategy.
It's wild how as soon as we go to PC, the gameplay just looks so much better as well.
Popularization. But players still saw it as a viable way to speed up rounds before 150, if you were up to the challenge. The other discovery was the source of the random extra entities players had been experiencing in recent years. With the reset optimizations, players were
Bro, look at that Mark II. The camos on PC that people are making go nasty.
able to get down from
Look
around
at that
270
thing.
to 280 entities to a minimum of 249
The Tomahawk
entities
looks
on the
different
map
too,
in any
bro.
given game. However, like what had happened in Lamster's game, entities were sometimes randomly added after going to the bridge, which effectively still left the reset up to chance. You could just see when you were going to reset a lot earlier on PC.
Oh, is this when we realize that you have to go in a specific chair to get rid of certain entities? I think
using
I
a
remember
program
this.
called a reset tracker. This inconsistency
Or is that only for the
stumped
speed
everyone,
run? I can't remember.
and players would simply have to do the entire setup and restart the game if they had a lot of entities after going to the bridge, which was horrendous considering restarting for the Mark II was also the meta at this point to play
Yeah, it would
as
take
fast as
freaking
possible.
forever, bro.
But there was one player who realized he always had lower entities
Oh,
than
look at these perk shaders. What is this, bro? Bro was playing on a freaking... Oh my gosh, he's playing on a draw pad,
everyone
dog.
else, with no idea why.
What is
Brazilian high
this?
rounder Hefesto.
Oh, I love this guy
Hefesto
already.
was able to get down to 246 or 247 entities consistently, giving him potentially another hour of reset time. But what was he doing differently? Detective Chris Voltage was on the case, copying Hefesto's setup play for play over and
Better copy those perk shaders too, Chris.
over again. He had to narrow down the cause. Finally, in February of 2022, he figured it out, and no one could have expected what it was. During the setup, whenever you use one of the electric panels on the wall to go into Afterlife, it's possible that it will randomly add an entity to your game each time and lower the
Really?
reset. Hefesto had been downing himself with grenades or zombies to go into Afterlife in the interest of speed, having no idea that this affected anything.
Oh,
But once Chris
no.
figured this out, everyone could get down to 247 entities without doing trial and error. Another entity could be cleverly removed by getting the Blundergat out of the box and off the Warden's table through the Skull Easter egg.
Oh, that's interesting.
Since the game
I mean, that makes sense, to be honest, because
Can't
there's
give
all
you
those
two of
spawn
the same
effects that they
weapon.
do and all that.
If you pick up the Blundergat from the box, and then from the desk as a secondary, it will just give you the Acid Gat from the desk.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you can hold all the parts for the Acid Gat kit and never build it, saving an entity and
that
bringing
saves
you down
entity
to 246
too. Dang.
or 245. There's still
I always thought that Easter egg was so useless, and here we are. It's absolutely mandatory now in WR.
one random entity to
Wow.
this day that no one knows the cause of. But restarting for one entity isn't as critical as restarting for a handful.
That is
So-
very true. One is just kind of whatever.
Players forged ahead. Still, action on Mob was slow and uneventful, as restarts were still brutal, and the community couldn't agree on whether to use a first box patch to mitigate them. But on New Year's Day 2023,
Dang, that Ascot looks
Stealth's
gorgeous.
2.5-year reign over Mob would finally end.
No way.
Black Ops 1 player and serial map rotator Nestor53
Dang.
would finally cycle through Mob of the Dead in his playlist, playing the same way as Stealth with stair strategy the whole game.
Whoo! What a
Nestor
save.
was actually slower than Stealth to 200, but gained back this lost time afterward by taking less downs than Stealth after 200.
Wow.
Nestor had the longest recorded
Bro, like, look at these. This is like an inverted Afterlife pap candle. The thing looks
reset on
crazy
Mob at
good.
104 hours and 20 minutes, giving him just enough time to change the round over to 234 before resetting. This
Wow.
game was controversial at first.
So this is the WR. Nobody's beating 234. Nobody's beating 234. Ladies and gentlemen, who's hitting the 235? Let me tell you,
because Nestor used
ain't
an
me.
in-game trap timer,
it ain't me.
which told him exactly when the acid trap would be recharged after every
the
use.
trap timer. Yeah, because a lot of people now have, like, when you watch Krups play Shinonuma, there's, like, he's got the entities counter, you got the trap counter now. And yeah, I get it. Some people are like, it's not legit, it's not vanilla, which is true. But it's also just like, man, do you really want to pull out a little stopwatch next to you and put up a stopwatch for like 20 seconds?
It's widely accepted as legit if
I
you do
doubt
this
it.
manually.
Yeah, I think it's
But
fair.
automating it is kind of a gray area.
Yeah.
However, the merit of this game was
But it's just like, bro, you're not going to have to ask me to put on a 20-second timer for 104 freaking hours, bro.
generally agreed
Come
upon,
on.
and it's considered a world record by most players.
Why would somebody do that?
Nestor's 234 still stands as the Mob of the Dead world record at the time
Wow.
of this video.
Wow.
However, this is actually considered one of the easier Black Ops 2 world records to beat right now. Nestor didn't
Easier. 104 hours, by the way.
actually utilize OnlyFans strat or the 245 entity optimization.
So you're telling me that if somebody goes on OnlyFans, they can get the Mob of the Dead world record?
So there's already a lot of known
I don't
ways
know,
to
that's an
gain
enticing
time on his
offer.
game. Plus, there are always new optimizations being discovered, even more so in the past few years for Mob. The main thing holding players back is lack of motivation.
Fair.
That's something I'm
Getting around 100 beat it out of me on this map. And I only did 12 hours, let alone 104. They did 10 times my hours.
hoping this video
Multiple times.
will fix.
Oh my
Mob
gosh.
has actually shown signs of a resurgence recently.
Lads, if you speedrun Mob to get the 235, you're a W legend. I want to see it. Somebody do the OnlyFans trap on Mob the Dead.
In fact,
need to
while
see
I
it.
was making this video, the record was almost beaten again.
Dang.
Spanish player Sefi made it to round 233 before his game crashed and closed itself.
No.
He most likely would have been too slow to make it to 235, but only because of the nearly 70 downs he took.
Oh no. 70? Bruh, when is the perfect player coming by? We need someone 0 downs, 104 hours straight. I mean, we need to see it.
A skill that can be easily improved upon. And he's not the only one playing these days.
Bruh.
Players like Hephaesto and Gaming Ghost are still dedicated to taking the record one day, and even Lamster has returned to the Mob scene for his crown.
Y'all are crazy. But if you hit the 235, let me know. The thing is, though, is that, does that mean now that Buried's high round will always be higher than Mob's? Because people are struggling to hit the 235 on Mob, but on Buried, hasn't 236 already happened? Because of the trample seam strat and the
Because in
saloon?
looking back on 10 years of world records on this map,
I think that might
one
be
thing is
the
definitely
top
clear.
round for BO2. At least now.
Dedication is key to Mob of the Dead.
Oh, of course.
Not many players are willing to play a single match for over 100 hours.
I mean, Not many people have 100 hours on COD Zombies, period, let alone on just Mob of the
and
Dead.
even fewer to do that over and over again.
Buried is 236. Wonderful says high 230s is possible on Mob, but Buried will eventually be higher than Mob can ever be. Yeah, I agree. Just because Mobs, for the most part, is very systematic and probably a lot faster. Even though a Mob, you get an equipment that's insta-kill pretty much, which is crazy.
But if Space Marine or Lambster or Stealth had tapped out after a few attempts, then all the progress on the strategies, on the rounds, on the map's place in the community may never have come around. But no,
It's crazy that people have spent longer in Mob of the Dead than some people who actually spent a crime sentence in Alcatraz.
knowing these players, it's no
That fact
surprise
still
they
blowing
kept
my mind.
playing. It would be one thing to dig your way out of
I can't believe
Alcatraz,
that.
but it's a whole other thing to escape Mob of the Dead.
Yeah.
I'm Wonderful, and this has been the complete world record history of Mob of the Dead. Thanks for watching.
W video, Wonderful. Wonderful. It's coming around that time as well. It's coming about the end of the year where you're going to have a record video coming up soon. And we're going to watch that too.
If you enjoyed this
So,
video, let me know.
Great video, man. Ladies and gentlemen, check out Wonderful. Absolute legend. I already liked and subbed. I preemptively did it, man.